is Freemasonry in the Bakken podcast, episode 4, The Tenants of Freemasonry. I'm Nolan Overton, a Master Mason Shriner and Order of the Eastern Star member.
And this is Dr. Robert Bear. I'm a Master Mason and member of El Zeco Shrine.
And I'm Tyler Hall, a Master Mason, Shriner, Eastern Star member, and Senior DeMolay.
The views, opinions, and thoughts shared on the show are that of the individual host or guest and not intended to represent the entire show, other co-hosts, Freemasonry, independent body, or grand jurisdiction as a whole. We try to have as much accurate and correct as possible, but reserve the right to be human and make mistakes. If you feel we have a wrong fact or have a difference of opinion, we encourage you to contact us via our contact page on the website for a mature, friendly discussion on the fact or topic.
On today's show, we're going to talk about the 3 tenets of Freemasonry, which is brotherly love, relief, and truth. And I guess the first way to begin with, I guess we need to have what is a tenet? What's the definition of one? And the one that I found is a tenet is a theory or a teaching so universally accepted that no one questions its truth. It's something that is held true in every instance without questions for so long that everyone takes it for granted. And I found some examples of that would be like, it's better for us to save money than to waste it. An honest man is more dependable than a man who tells lies. And another one is good health is better than bad health, which I kind of like that one. I think that's why I eat healthier each day. What about you guys?
How about early bird gets the worm? Is that a tenet?
That sounds like a good tenet to me. So I think the one to start out with would be brotherly love. What do you guys think about brotherly love? And
Tyler, what do you think?
Well, I love it. It's it encompasses, so much as far as our friendship, and not only that, but even deeper. It goes deeper than the family, even, I think, sometimes, because of the true connectiveness, I guess you would say, of a Freemason.
When I have to be in full disclosure here, I didn't get a chance to do a lot of research on a lot, so I do apologize. But one of the things I did read on brotherly love is that in Western society, the word love encompasses so many types of love. And I don't remember how many definitions the Greek had, or how many words the Greek used, but the Greeks had so many different words for different types of love. Mm-hmm. And I think it's easy to misunderstand brotherly love, especially for younger generations, that it doesn't mean a attractiveness, or it's a caring, it's a true commitment, right. And you're promising to always care about that person. You don't have to agree with that person, you don't have to like that person, kind of like family, but you're always going to care about that person. You reserve to yell at them instead of somebody else because you care enough to yell at them.
Absolutely. Well, it's like you said, it's a caring love, not a romantic love.
Right.
Right.
And I think in what I have seen, that is one of the easier ones to forget about in not only Masonry, but as a society as a whole. As a society, we're supposed to have that caring and commitment to each other. However, it's easy to be angry at your neighbor, to not like somebody, to talk bad about somebody. But that's not the true spirit of brotherly love.
Right.
And when we say brotherly love, we don't just mean men. We mean the community, the Masonic family, and even beyond that. Just because my neighbor may not be a Mason doesn't mean I'm not going to try to take care of them. If a loved one passes, I'll take them food. That's an example of brotherly love. If a family, somebody is down on their luck, you're going to help them out. If a brother is injured, you're going to go over and help them out, or their family out.
Right. Regardless if they're rich or poor or high in society or low in society, we're not here to judge somebody. We're here to help, and that's what we need to do. We love our brothers just because they're brothers. I mean, we're doesn't matter what our differences. We forgive each other's faults. Even if a brother is wrong, we still have to stand behind them and be there for them.
Right. And then looking at the back to the Greek, there's the filial love or the mental love that is
There
an
you go.
affection
Exactly.
or
Thank you, Tyler.
regard to or friendship. Then you have the agape love, which is spiritual sense or true unconditional love. Some of those types of loves
Yeah,
you were talking about, Nolan.
exactly. And it's not just Freemasonry that teaches this. Almost any major religion and philosophical group will teach this same thing. Yet I find it's one of the more lacking concepts in modern society. One of the things Freemasonry can truly bring to society again is that concept of brotherly love. How many times have you gone, especially lately, into a store, instead of smiling at your neighbor or smiling at that person who walks through the door, you ignore them, or you don't wave at the person passing you anymore? I remember at one time the Bakken area was every car you passed on the highway, you'd wave hi to them.
Absolutely.
Now you're grumbling that they're on your highway because, it's always your highway, nobody else's.
It's funny you say that, because when we first moved here, you would be driving down the road and everybody be waving at you. And at first I thought, well, is there something wrong with my car? Everybody's, who was that? And then it was like, well, everybody does that. Everybody here waves. But
Yep.
You're right. Nobody does that anymore. Even you see somebody walking out of the store like Walmart or something. Why not help them out? Give them a hand. Even opening the door for somebody.
Common courtesy is
Absolutely.
an example of brotherly love or that type of expression.
Yep.
Even when I said the major religions, you take Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, any of those teach the concepts of brotherly love. Mm-hmm. But it's easy to get within the mindset that it only applies to your small group,
Right,
or to your clique. And I think that's one of the great things Masonry teaches, is that not only do you look after your brother, but you're also not caretakers, because that sets you above, because we're all on the level. You're responsible for helping out those around you, regardless of what the situation is, as long as it doesn't bring harm or trouble to yourself.
Well, unless we all work together, we're not going to survive. I mean, we all live on this world, and we were all brought here by one individual that created all of us, and it's our responsibility, like you said, to care, support, and be there to help each other. And I think that's what Masonry teaches us to do. It reminds us. I know one of the hardest thing, I think, to do as we look in brotherly love is sometimes people have disagreements and conflicts. And as I was researching this, it's kind of like I kind of thought of some of my own issues, and you got to learn to let go of some of this stuff and understand that we all have faults, and make sure we don't blame or where are we each day with our reaching out with brotherly love? Are we holding on to conflicts, or are we letting go of it?
One great concept of love, irregardless of the type of love, is forgiveness and understanding. And I think
Right.
you hit the point there, is you need to learn to forgive, whether it's yourself or others. There are many times I've sat in meetings, not necessarily Masonic-related meetings, where people are arguing back and forth. Mm-hmm. And if they would have remembered the tenet of brotherly love, whether it's from the religious background or a group affiliation background, they might have been able to calm down, realize there was a misunderstanding, and they may not have gotten over it, but they wouldn't have taken the anger and the stress out of that office with them or that meeting room with them.
Correct. Yep.
And, brotherly love acts like a good umbrella. Well, okay, I don't want to say umbrella because it doesn't necessarily cover the other two, but I think brotherly love forms the basis of the other two, of relief and truth.
Right.
Right.
And that leads us into moving on to our second one that I want to discuss this during the show, is relief. And, most of us think of relief as some type of charity, and more like financial charities. And each of our Masonic groups, we have different charities which we support.
Spaghetti feeds.
Yeah, pancake breakfast. You got Scottish Rite that has their
Speech.
and the Shriners. You have the Shriners
Have
Hospital.
hospitals, and then the York have the So the hearing centers or the vision centers?
I think so. And
Yep, and then
if you're in the East and you're a member of the Tall Cedars, which is offbeat of the Masonic group there, they have muscular dystrophy that they support. So, I mean, we have the charities, the financial charities that we support, but this relief is a little bit more than this, Masonic-wise.
well, and not to cut you off, but I'm going to because that's what I do. That I'd once heard.
I'm used to it.
We're all.
I appreciate that. That you need a reason to meet.
Yes.
And a lot of times the reason for Masonic bodies to meet is the act of relief.
Right.
So, that's a good way to think about it. Otherwise, we're just a bunch of guys getting together talking about, paying the utility bill. Which
we talk about that too.
We talk about that too, but that's not the only thing we talk about. So anyway, continue on your discussion with relief there.
Well, I think as a whole, it is mankind's responsibility to give of themselves and to support whatever charity or that they believe in. But as Masons, I think we also give relief, and that's beyond just financially. I mean, if a brother is having problems with their business or with their family, or maybe they're moving in and they're alone and they don't know anybody, so their support system's down. Relief can come in those forms too, just by reaching out and saying, hey, you look like you need a hand. You look like you need someone to talk to. And relief also falls under that category too.
Right.
And within what I've noticed is that, especially with guys, we're very proud. We don't want to ask for help. We have a hard time accepting help, and we have a hard time thanking people for help, but we're much more likely to give help at a moment's notice. So I think part of that relief in that tenet is not only do you have to learn how to give relief, but you have to learn how to accept relief and when to acknowledge you need help.
In other words, guys, stop being so bullheaded. I do a lot of this in counseling, Accept to help when you need it, right?
Exactly.
Tyler, go ahead.
I just want to give an example because, like you said, we're, men. We're men, and we don't like to, go out and ask for help. And the thing about, brotherly love coming into it is the fact that, I know 10 years ago or so, I was kind of in a situation where, my emotions and stress were, acting up because my, finances were all upshot. And I, gave in and asked, my Scottish Rite Valley to, help me out a little bit. And they sure did. But, it wasn't only financially, but it was, a couple brothers coming in and, chatting with me a little bit. And, that really relieved me. And, I'm here today in a good sense, a better man because of the, I actually stepped up and said, hey, I do need help.
And Tyler, I'd have to admit, I don't think that's something at this point I could do or do well. So I applaud you for being able to step up and recognizing that and taking that step.
Absolutely. I think also, at this time of the year, we're coming into the holiday season, and of course, this is when these tenets really come to mind because you watch it on TV, you see commercials, Hallmarks were running all their movies and that. So all of a sudden, people are giving into like the Salvation Army buckets, or people are going and visiting people in nursing homes and that. But this is, that's a great thing. But I think it's also, this is something we need to do all year round. I mean, I encourage people, or other brothers, to visit our brothers who are in nursing home or are unable to come to the meetings. This is our opportunities to reach out to them and not forget them.
Absolutely.
I completely agree. And maybe that's something we can, like last week we had the challenge of reaching out to a brother who may not have been to a meeting in a while.
Mm-hmm.
that could make it. Maybe this is an opportunity for a challenge for brothers to look where they can provide relief, not necessarily financial relief, some other type of relief, whether it's just saying hi to a brother you haven't in a while, going out for coffee,
Yes.
seeing how a family's doing. I reached out to a brother earlier this week. Didn't ask the specifics, but I knew there were some problems, and reached out and said, hey, look, if you need help, contact me. And that's a form of reaching out, because they don't necessarily know who they can contact unless those who are willing to be contacted reach out first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes as I was going through some of my readings and that, if you're from a lodge that's from out of state, sometimes the easiest thing to do is just contact that state's Grand Lodge and say, is there a Masonic brother near me who I can contact that could help me? And you'd be amazed at how many stories I found of this happening, where a Masonic brother would contact another one and say, what can I do for you? How can I help you?
That's fantastic. That's actually especially in the situation we're in the Bakken, we should be encouraging that more.
Yes.
Right.
A personal story, this actually happened last night. My wife goes out and works out about 5 or 6 times a week. And the location the gym she works out at, she'd noticed there was a vehicle who had a Masonic sticker. And she was, first couple nights she wasn't sure who it was, but then last night she was able to witness who walked in. And completely out of the blue, never talking with that gentleman before, walked up and gave him my information. And he said that was the highlight of his day.
Well, that's
was
awesome.
getting that.
That's great.
And even though that's stretching it, that's a form of relief, because now he knows he's not alone.
Absolutely.
He has a Masonic brother he can reach. He may not have anything wrong, but now he doesn't have to feel he's alone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he had his. Oh, hold on, sorry, Ty. I'm sure he had his friends around, but now he knows he's opened up to the wider Masonic family. All right, go ahead, Tyler.
I think too that stems off of some of our appendant bodies too, of our tenants, shining off on them too, because you just mentioned kind of the Eastern Star, reaching out, our gals there reaching out and witnessing to others and providing a type of brotherly love, relief, and truth to others as well.
Well, exactly. Well, I think it's time we move on to truth. I think we're moving along pretty good here.
I do.
So, and without the tenet of truth, even though I try to say brotherly love kind of incorporated the other two, if you think about it, as we've discussed this, the tenet of truth forms the basis of the other two. If you weren't true to yourself or weren't wanting to be honest and outgoing, I don't know if that's the right word, you wouldn't have relief. And without truth, could you have brotherly love?
Right. Well, and as you say, truth is the first lesson that we learn in Masonry, to be truthful and honest.
Very true.
It forms the basis of the other two.
Yep. Because if we can't be honest and truthful with each other, there is no fraternity.
Right.
Right.
And that's true. And, Freemason, the motto of Freemasonry is, let there be light. And I think that light is our individual search for what the truth is as being a Mason. We have a individual journey I think each of us must take to discover what it is to be the Mason inside. My new motto is to be Masonic proud. I want to learn more about myself, about this fraternity, and the way I'm going to do that is through my own individual research, going down my own path. And I think each of us will have to take that journey on their own, but also do it together. And that's why I got you two guys to go down that path.
And we're proud, or at least I'm proud to be here.
What do you think, Tyler? What path are you going to take when looking for truth to you? What's it mean?
It means a whole a lot of things, and just being truthful to myself as well as to anybody, to a brother, to my family, to friends, to even just measly acquaintances that I meet, in the street. Just holding that yourself up to or trying to hold yourself up to the highest standard you can.
Mm-hmm. Now, Nolan, I remember in past sessions you kind of said that, I think if I remember correctly, you've been a Mason now for 7 years. Is that correct?
9.
9 years? But you kind of said there was a time period when after you came in that you weren't very active, kind of like I was.
Right.
And that all of a sudden you've got this spark to really learn and become involved and educate yourself. What did you do? How did you do that? I mean, what was your drive and what is your drive?
I've always sought knowledge. When I was younger, some kids want to be firemen, some people want to be police officers, some want to join the army, some want to be accountants, who knows. I wanted to learn. If I could have gotten a job where I sat in a library and read all day, I would have been happy. Wouldn't pay the bills, but I would have been happy. Mm-hmm. And throughout life's events, I was never actually able to do that type of scholarly research. And one of the things that attracted me to Freemasonry was the history, the lore, the knowledge. Mm-hmm. And I've mentioned that in the past. But it's so easy to get wrapped up in day-to-day life events of, do the kids need a bath? What time does work start? How cold is it going to be? The dogs need to go potty. That you lose sight of the greater things that you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
And part of that was becoming a better man through Freemasonry. And it was almost a little over a year ago, during an entered apprentice degree work, that the spark hit me and stuck with me. And that's when I realized that it was either I follow through with it or it'll never go anywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's been the burning desire ever since, is that no matter what happens, I hold on to that ember until I can get it to be a burning flame again and have it help me push me along.
Fan that flame.
Exactly.
It's pretty awesome.
And we would like to thank Dickinson Family Counseling Center for their use of their extra office they have. They're your first choice for a healthy mind, and you can contact them at 701-483-9702.
And if you know of any Masonic or appendant body activities coming up in the Bakken area, you can visit our website at www.bakkenmasons.com and click on the trestle board. If you have any comments or suggestions on an episode, you can contact us at our website, our Facebook page at facebook.com/BakkenMasons, Twitter at BakkenMasons.com, email us at contact@BakkenMasons.com, or leave us a voicemail at 701-484-1512. And if you are discussing a show, topic, or the podcast with friends online, we encourage the use of the hashtag BakkenMasons.
The time has come for us to say goodbye. So for Brother Nolan, Brother Tyler, and myself, Dr. Bob, we'd like to say thank you for listening and look forward to you joining us again. During next week's episode, we will be having an interview with Grand Master David Bickle. Until then, be Masonic proud. I now leave you with these parting words. We meet on the level. We meet on the level, my brothers and me. We encourage good men into our society. If their actions be upright and always true, if we see integrity in all that they do, if they seek more light and value truth, if their own insight desires proof, if we offer them our right hand and welcome them from any land, for we judge on character, not creed, nor on religion or wealth but deed. We meet them on the level, my brothers and me, and accept them as Masons, ancient and free. By Peter Ryan. So mote it be.